And you, just to let you know, Fintel did send, our IT guy the agenda to post on our page on Friday, but he didn't do it, so we reminded him on Monday to post it now, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday, somebody had messaged me, so I think it was on yesterday.
Yeah,
We acknowledge the sacred land on which the town of Moosonee operates. Within the lands protected by James Bay Treaty Number 9. We are grateful to have this opportunity to make decisions at this table that will impact the community. Which, with that, I would also ask, Michelle just to acknowledge that this meeting will be recorded.
Yeah.
Or being recorded.
This meeting is being recorded and it will be posted to the public.
Resolution 2025 216, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Be resolved, this regular council meeting comes to order at 6:03 p.m. Present, Councilor Ryder, Councilor Tozer, Councilor Hunter, and Councilor Nackerty. Could I have a mover for this resolution, please? Carmen Tozer moves it, second. Sabian Nackerty, second. Moved by Carmen Tozer, second by Sabian Nackerty. For any discussion in opening the meeting? If not, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on. They have a copy of the agenda. To review the agenda, please, Shonda.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-217. Be resolved that the agenda be accepted as presented / amended.
Could I have a mover for this, please? Susan Hunter moves it, second by Diane Ryder. Are there any changes to the agenda? I guess the only one that we would do would be the draft
Property standard.
property standards bylaw. Is that correct? Correct. That we will add. Are there any other changes? If not, all in favor? Opposed, carried.
where's it being added?
Right.
Didn't say where.
Oh, all right, I'm not gonna be under the bylaw. Right, I put it under.
Well, where does it go? It's in discussion, 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 yeah, stay with this discussion, because it's just draft.
Yeah. No further questions? All in favor? Opposed, carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Are there any pecuniary interest to disclose at this time? This time,
Number 5,
number 5.
well, infrastructure updates.
And then we can agree.
Personal, board chair.
Thank you. Are there any others? If for council's information is there's under this black, there is a pecuniary, there's also a conflict of interest. So I urge you to look that up as well. All right, so we will move on to the adoption of the minutes number 4. Oh, by the way, at any time during the meeting, if you missed one, you want to please feel free to do so.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-218. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the regular meeting number 25-2025 of November 10th, 2025 as presented / amended.
We have a mover for the church. Susan moves a seconder. Carmen Tozer seconds it. Moved by Susan Hunter, second by Carmen Tozer. Are there any changes in the minutes? Don't see any, so we'll accept it as presented. Any further discussion? Not all in favor. Opposed carries. All right, so we're into Waha presentation and delegation with Waha infrastructure update. And the people know, who do we have on the screen?
We have Jen Simon and Dave Pencilwood, and is, Horsley Simon with you guys as well? Yeah? Simon Horsley, sorry.
All right, just so that people.
Simon and Haley.
Because, and Haley Holmes from Stantec. Did you want to just introduce your people?
Sure.
And just that so I wanted to make sure that, so with that, I guess we will just, who's leading this?
Well, Lyndon is here.
Lynn is going to be here, okay, all right then. The others are just for information, or if we have questions.
So Jen's gonna actually go through the PowerPoint. She's gonna start the PowerPoint and then Stantec is also going, the technical team will also present.
All right, we'll try to keep it to 15 minutes if we can. If we have to run a little bit over, that is fine, but we will try to keep it. Normally, that's what we have delegations to do. So with that, I guess I'll turn over to Lynn, because she's here, and then she can turn to Jen or whoever, all right? So Lynn, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Jen, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, it's pretty quiet. Sorry, 1 second, we're not ready. You're very
We can't
quiet.
hear you.
Can someone else online talk? Maybe it's just Jen? No? David, can you say something for us?
Can you hear me? This is Haley.
Oh, it's us.
All really low.
What? Okay, we're turning ours up. Sorry, our volume is very low.
Let's try to,
Jen, you wanna try again?
Can
Yeah,
you
I'm
hear
here,
me now?
Lynn. Thank you.
Better. Okay, go ahead.
that's 1, 2, 3.
Test.
That's better, yeah. Okay, yeah, should be good.
All right, I think we're ready to go again. Sorry about that.
No, all good. Thank you, Mayor, councilors, and CAO for having us come and present our delegation on off-site infrastructure for the Waha redevelopment project. I'll start by introducing our team that's with us. So we have David Henselwood, who is our Director of Redevelopment, and we have Simon Horsley and Haley Holmes as our technical experts that are with Stantec and have been assisting with our review. And I'm Jen Simon. I'm the VP of Redevelopment for Waha. I'll share my screen. And I don't want to spend too much time on the background. I think that there is a lot of interest in the technical solutions. So I'll breeze through this and turn it over to Dave, Haley, and Simon to continue with the technical component. So everybody is well aware that the Waha redevelopment project is under construction right now and well underway. So I will move past the introductory slides. Like any major hospital campus, we need municipal infrastructure upgrades to support the campus. So that has always been contemplated as part of the project. It's always been a question of what is the scope of the upgrades? What extent do these upgrades need to be made to support, the project, but also the viability of the town moving forward? Because the project with the town and vice versa, they cannot exist independently. So we needed to look at all aspects of the infrastructure requirements to support the project and also the town. So there's some background spanning a couple years. We have lots of, differences from various consultants that we have engaged and worked through. But I'll say the latest on this is, last year we got an estimate from EXP on offsite infrastructure. It was greater than we had anticipated. So we've engaged Stantec to complete a third-party review of those findings, which is now complete. So the whole intent of that third-party review was to, I'll say, bench test the assumptions in the original report and make sure that, you know, everybody's comfortable with the solutions for infrastructure being promoted. So the upgrades are quite extensive. They discuss potable water, fire, water treatment plant, lagoons, and then of course the stormwater and sanitary linear infrastructure. And I'll turn it over to the team in a second, but key principle behind all of this is that WAHA has committed the capital funding to support infrastructure upgrade costs required to support the project. And we have reaffirmed that commitment many times throughout the project, but want to assure Mayor, Council, councillors, and CEO that we are committed to funding the capital for these upgrades as part of the redevelopment project. And we're also committed to maintaining the town's servicing capacity and then building in that resilience into the infrastructure. So there is redundancy and an ability for WAHA and the town to grow together. And want to reaffirm this for the group because it's really important that we make timely decisions on the infrastructure as a partnership. So we can advance the redevelopment project and have site services ready when we contractually need them to be ready per our contract with Pomerleau. So with that, I can turn it over to the team for an assessment of the next steps and then some of the infrastructure solutions and timeframes that we were looking at.
So, Jane, maybe I can take it from here if that's all
Of
right.
course, absolutely.
So both the EXP report that was done for the town and the subsequent third-party review by Stantec focused on 3 or 4 different aspects of the required infrastructure upgrades. The major one, of course, is the capacity of the water treatment plant to supply the new needs of the hospital. And the needs of the hospital are not insubstantial. They're literally double what the town is providing for itself at the moment. So that is a substantial component of what's necessary to resolve. The second is the distribution of that water and the extension of the existing water piping that's already close to the project needs to be extended around to complete a loop around the project. We have to do with the sewage from the project, and we have several different options available to us, and we've done a study to determine which is the most advantageous from a financial point of view, the most cost effective. And then, of course, we have the issue of the lagoon, which needs to be expanded in order to accommodate the discharge from the hospital. So those are the components that we are addressing, and I'll turn it over to Haley and her team to give a little bit more technical detail. We're going to try and keep this to a fairly high level and just really bring you up to speed with where we are. But I can tell you that the negotiations between EXP, the town, and ourselves have progressed quite well, and we're almost at the finish line. We have a couple of issues to resolve in the next few days, but we're very confident that we can come to an agreement on the scope of work and start the actual design as soon as we can. So with that, I'll turn it over to Haley.
Thanks, Dave. So I'll just give a quick overview of some of the technical solutions that we have proposed. They are fairly in line with what was previously proposed by EXP with some minor differences. So starting with the water treatment plant, we have proposed a pre-sedimentation pond, which will help get some of the solids and turbidity out of the water before the water enters the plant and lighten a bit of the load on the plant. It will also provide a little bit of storage capacity so that when you have some of the raw water events where your raw water quality is not as good during the spring thaw or during a storm, for example, you would have the ability to turn the plant off and draw from the pond for a couple of days and limit the impact of the river's water quality on the plant. We've also proposed, following that upgrade, to do some additional testing on the plant's capacity. This is called stress testing, where we see what the plant can reasonably output reliably and meeting the Ontario regulations for water quality. And following that stress testing, we propose to conduct an evaluation of alternatives to determine the required capital upgrades for the water treatment plant to service the Waha site and meet the required capacity at that point. So that's kind of a summary of what we've proposed for the water treatment plant. For the lift stations, this conversation is still ongoing between Stantec and EXP and the town, and we are trying to come to a solution that everyone is happy with in terms of providing the required sewage flows from Waha to those sewage lagoons, but trying to minimize the total amount of capital upgrades that need to be done to achieve that goal. So we have proposed an additional lift station be constructed on the rail siding property adjacent to the Waha site. And this lift station will help to convey the flows from Waha to the sewage lagoons. And then for the sewage lagoon, so you currently have 2 lagoon cells. We are proposing a 3rd cell be constructed that is the same size as the existing 2, and that will continue to treat the additional flow that will be provided from the Waha site. In terms of stormwater, our recommendations were consistent with the EXPs to add a storm sewer to convey the stormwater flows away from the site. And then I'll just touch quickly actually on fire water. So we have proposed some additional on-site infrastructure be constructed right on the Waha site. And one of these is a water storage tank. So this tank will hold the full fire water volume that is recommended by the fire underwriter survey, that quantity of water for the entire health campus. So all of the fire water storage will be on site at Waha. They will have their own fire water pumps that are drawing from the tank. And then they will also have some, we call it equalization volume, but that's some of the domestic volume that the hospital will use stored in the tank as well. You could go to the next slide, Jen.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, we have our, make it bigger. It's tiny.
Thanks. So this is a preliminary schedule that has been developed by Waha's team regarding implementation of these upgrades. So Dave, do you want to touch on this a little bit more, some of those earlier tasks?
Sure. So as Jen alluded a little earlier, we have some definite commitments from a contractual point of view with our major contractor on the site to have the water, storm, and sanitary services available for them to connect to by middle or late 2027. And so in order to do that, we're going to need to start the design as soon as possible in the early portions of next year and have everything ready for tender in several different packages because some of these items can be separated out and tendered on a individual basis. But most of the tendering of this work needs to be done by roughly the middle of next year, if possible. So we are under the gun to get this going as soon as possible. And we of course have some time until 2030 or 2031 to actually have the volumes available for the site, but it is the commitment to have things ready for the contractor to connect to that's really driving our schedule on and trying to get this design started as soon as possible. There are many aspects of the design that have been well looked after by EXP in the past, and including the water loop around the site, which is almost designed at this point anyway. So I think we have a leg up from a few standpoints, but we definitely have some work to do for the water treatment plant, and that has to be a staged and phased approach so that we don't dive in and do a whole bunch of upgrades to the plant that aren't really necessary. If the work that we're doing to try and improve the water quality from the river is successful, we're hoping that we don't have to do a whole lot of upgrades to the actual treatment processes, but that may well be necessary, and we have to wait until we do that, till we have the results of some of the early phases before we can make those decisions. So the water treatment plant has a little bit of a longer time frame than some of the linear works. And of course, the linear works simply need to be there to allow the contractor to connect to them, not necessarily that there's going to be anything flowing through them. So that's kind of where we are. I want to just mention one quick thing, and that is that a very, very large component of the original EXP pricing was a brand new fire line that was going to run from the water treatment plant all the way through the town to the site to provide volume and pressures to fight fires on the site. And I think in their defense, they did not realize that the option of providing some form of storage on the site was available to them. And I think that Haley's team has taken advantage of that, and we have a much better solution which eliminates that long new water line that would have otherwise had to be run right through the town. So that's kind of a quick overview on the schedule. The lagoon, of course, is going to also take a great deal of time to design and complete, and a great portion of that is the environmental reviews and approvals that we have to have in order to expand the capacity of the current lagoon and the discharge into the creek. So unless there's any questions on the schedule, maybe we could go to the next slide.
Next slide is questions.
Oh, there we are.
Maybe I'll
Discussion.
just comment quickly on the schedule, just so that everything is clear. Any larger capital upgrades to the water treatment plant, the design and construction period for that is not currently shown on the schedule. So it would be beginning in 2020.
Sorry, 2028. What was the year, sorry?
2028.
8, okay.
So, I guess we're in a question and answer discussion.
Yes. Any questions and discussion? We're here.
All right, Councilor Ryder.
I guess I just want to say that I'm really happy to hear that we're at this point where we're seeing a bit of light, or a light at the end of the tunnel, and how we see this infrastructure being pulled together. That would definitely help with the water and wastewater issues that will be coming with this new large build. I guess my only question right now, and I don't know that it really fits into this, is we're putting we got a new work camp, not a new work camp. Another work camp is going to be put in on the rail line, which I think is going to be another 300 and some. And I'm just wondering, are we able to handle these work camps and where they're located with our existing sites?
Jen, maybe I can take that one.
Of course.
That's a very good question. And as we've said, that the water and sanitary are not available in the area of the proposed second phase of that workers' camp. And so the question is, what are they going to do for water and sewage? And the proposal that's been discussed in the background between Pomelo, Waha, and the town is that there would probably be some temporary lines extended through our existing site and use the water that we have now on the existing site, which is coming primarily from the staff housing or Bird Early Works project area, to temporarily feed that camp until these new infrastructure lines are in Percy's Way. So there is definitely going to have to be some temporary measures to provide water and sanitary. And the nature of the workers' camp is that they have holding tanks for a lot of these things as well. So they will have holding tanks for the water that will hold primarily firefighting water for them. And if necessary, they can hold the sewage water as well for a period of time before it's able to be either picked up or discharged. So those issues that you've raised are still under some discussion between the town and Pomelo and ourselves, and that has yet to be resolved before we can come to an agreement to allow that construction to proceed.
I would like to also add in there, Council Ryder, that we've been working on this, our staff has been working on this, and it will come before us, because there has to be a change amendment to the lease and everything else, so that will all be in there for us. It's not at that stage right now.
So it's just at the preliminary stages of
Yeah, it's
of how that whole system or service is gonna work.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Councilor Nagel, any questions?
I do have one. I'm more of a visual person. I'm having a hard time seeing where this pond would be. Is that already discussed where it would be? Like,
I think at the last meeting, I missed the last meeting, but
I did miss the last one.
yeah, there was some little sketches, I believe.
Yeah, we did go over it the last meeting.
We could,
But the pond is still one of the items that is sort of up in the air between Waha and the town. We're still figuring out if the pond is viable, if there's space for a pond, or perhaps a different solution will work better. That's one of the items that we're still discussing.
Okay. Yeah, that's my only question.
Councilor Hunter?
No, questions.
All right, thank you. I just had a couple of them. Number one was if we look at the last meeting, we had two options. I was just wondering, it just seemed like there was only one brought up here, but I guess the town was working on that, the tank and the pond. So I guess that's what, all right. The lift station, again, I think that's what our council working on it, whether it's going to be hospital owned, whether it's going to be our own, whether it's going to be wet lift station, dry lift station, whether it's going to be gravity feed or right into force main. I think that's something we're working on as well.
Yeah, that's another item up for discussion.
All right. And then again, with Councilor Ryder's question about the work camp. Again, we're all working together so that we can get the work camp hooked up. But it all is going to tie in eventually with the water, sewer mains and whatever agreement we come up with.
Yeah.
All right. There's only one thing I would like to express here that was said here today. I don't agree with 100%, but EXP came up with that force main from the water plant right up to the hospital site. I do not really agree with that. They were asked to come up with that. It wasn't on their own, I do not believe it was in the discussion I had. One of the options that was looked at, but they actually was looked at 20-some years ago when we first started looking at this. So I do not really agree that was only expedition. I think everybody was involved with that. So I just want to have that clarified. And
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I just wanted to respond to that, and you're absolutely correct. EXP was under the impression and perhaps the direction that their proposal should not propose any additional work on the Waha site. And subsequently, we have agreed that a water storage plant could be put on our site, and that would eliminate the need to have to run that line that you're just referring to. So you're quite right. EXP was working under the direction that there really was no other alternative but to run that line through.
Yeah, okay. Again, I sit on the meeting whenever I can, so I have a lot more information. I have a lot of people on this. and being quite familiar with it from years ago. But I'm really, really glad that, and I think big hurdles come out of the way where we're all working together for the same end product. And I think with all of us working together and continuing to work together and discuss things, we're going to move forward. In the past, what I found was a stumbling block is everybody wasn't informed of everything, and the town was actually sometimes left behind. So now that we're all working together, I think we're really moving forward, and I'm glad to see it. And thank you very much to all of you, and thanks my staff as well. All right, any other discussions from council on this? If not, we will move forward. Does the people virtually have any questions for us, or? No?
No.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys, and like I said, we're going to keep this project moving forward. I think we're taking great bounds and look forward to it, and I will participate on those, I call them Monday meetings whenever I can, so, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good news. Moving it forward. Gilbert, from your uniform?
Yeah, Brad's.
All right.
Brad and Nolan are both on.
All right.
Good evening.
So, to pave road reconstruction, Brad or Nolan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can, Nolan. So we'll turn it over to you and you'll do it with us if you would, please.
Hang on one sec. Would you be able to repeat that? It was kind of muffled. Sorry.
Okay, I said I will just turn it over to you and you can go through the report with us, please.
Oh yeah, that's actually Brad Gilbert for the memo for Bay Road. Brad's with us as well, but Brad will chime in.
Yep.
for the
Can you
report
hear
on
me?
Bay Road.
All right, Brad,
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
yeah,
Oh, okay. Perfect. Hello, everybody. So just to touch base on the memo that I submitted to Victoria last week for Bay Road. We're in the final stages of wrapping up this project. There was some deficiencies that were identified during a walkthrough on September 9th. And in speaking with the contractor, and it seems like these issues have been addressed with the addition of the removal of the last outstanding item, which was the lift station on oh, excuse me, on Hutchinson's Road. There has been an issue that's been brought to our attention regarding the riprap around the ends of culverts being displaced by children, picking them up and throwing them. So we kind of tossed around some ideas on how to rectify this, and one solution that has come to light was to pour like a grout or a slurry, a concrete slurry in those areas just to kind of seat them in place, so it would make it a little more difficult for them to move them. Other than that, there are three unserviced lots, 23, 55, and 68, that it sounds like these the town would like to proceed with servicing these lots, so that can be done with a contract change order. And we can speak to the contractor to if he would honor the prices that he had first initially based on with the contract. And other than that, there was a substantial completion that's being issued for the final inspection of the once the final inspection was completed for the project.
and thank you, Brad. I'm just going to open the floor up to councilors if they have any questions, but first I'm going to lots 23, 55, and 68 were not in the contract, is that correct, to service them?
That's correct. When Cave was with the town, it was he told us it was the town's policy not to service empty lots. They'd be done at a later time due to the roads being gravel. As the contract moved on, in discussions with Trevor, he was after the contract was initially awarded, some of the lots were actually serviced, some of the empty ones, and these are the 3 outstanding ones that haven't been serviced yet.
To make sure that the council understands that when we give out a contract, there are certain things that we put in. These lots were not in the contract to service. A lot that didn't have anything on them were not put into service. So I think what Brad is saying here is that he's going to ask the contractor if we will service these lots for the same price, basically. Is that correct, Brad?
Yes, that's correct. In the beginning, we're looking at cost-saving measures because we had a certain amount of funding for this project. So we had to, once the contract was released, we had to kind of scale back on certain items and to bring it within the budget of the funding allocation.
Okay, thank you. Councilor, we did the same thing on, I think it was Ferguson Road, actually, when we were doing Ferguson Road, we only have X number of dollars. Every time you put a service to the lot line, whether it's water or sewer, it's an extra cost. So that's why we did, and this is what carried over here again. I guess we have made and we have spoke with EXP. And any future, when we put a contract out, we want everything to be included right to the lot line. So that has been discussed with EXP since then. But when these contracts go out, again, there was an oversight on everybody's part, and again with the funding. If we were going to do some changes again, and we only have X number of dollars, it will come back to council to decide how we want to either shorten the distance you're going to do or cut these services or whatever. So it's not a normal thing where we just carry it over from units. One other question I had, Brad, was to pour the grout this time of year. Is that possible?
I wouldn't recommend it at this time of year. I would wait till next summer when the grout can set up. Otherwise, it would just freeze and crack, and it would just be kind of a waste of time.
All right, so that would be, if we were to sign off this, that would be additional work to be done in the spring. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be ideal.
All right, so all questions I had, I just want to clarify, so I'm going to open the floor to Councilor. Councilor Tozer.
I'll just come back to those lots. Are they on the east side or west of Bay Road?
I believe they are on the west side.
One of the, I mean, I can kind of describe the lots if you want.
I'm just kind of curious what the side.
One of them, well, 2 of them are actually owned by IO.
Mhm.
One of them is, kind of near Second Street. In between, like, there's that house in the corner and then there's like the yellow house. So there's one there, and then there's one in between like Rhoda's trailer and Dwayne's house. And then there's one on the other side of the street, kind of in that same section, just a little further up. And it's kind of just bush, between like those 4 plexes and the northern guy's house, maybe somewhere in there,
No.
around that area. Yeah.
Thanks.
Another question? Right?
It's a location.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any, well, I guess I do have a question, but I definitely want to make a comment that I'm quite disappointed with this project and with the engineering of this project by your company. A few things that have been noted, and again, I don't know why they weren't considered deficiencies, but the culverts that were put in on the driveways or down or both sides of the streets. Those culverts were too small and too short. And that's why what you're calling riprap, I think you're calling it, which is rock, is not being displaced by kids. It's being displaced because the slope is too steep and the culverts are too short. So all the material is falling into the culverts, which doesn't help with our drainage, as you can see. So it's just a really poor engineering, whatever, that's what that has caused. And that is, to me, that's not the contracting company, that's your company, that designed that. So very poorly done. The ditches, the slopes on the ditches on both sides, especially on the side that has the, sidewalk, are sloping. And so they're caving in because they don't have anything there supporting. There's no vegetation, there's no grass, there's nothing supporting them. So they're falling in. So yeah, in about 5 years' time, those ditches are just gonna be not even usable. My other issue, and again, not on the deficiencies, but the intersection corners, especially the one on Second and Bay. And then the other one that's down by, I think it's Bert Trapper and Bay. There's the four corners. The engineering there is to punch a hole inside of the storm drain and stick a culvert or a pipe in there, which again, it doesn't help us in the spring. Everything freezes. And again, because of that design, those ditches now fill up to a point where, again, it's more maintenance for us now because we have to go in and unthaw with steamers and all those kind of things because they're just very poorly designed drainage systems there. So yeah, unfortunately, they're not on the deficiency list. I wish they would have because I think that is your design and that you need to correct it at your own dollar. Yeah, other than that, the rock is too big, I think, around the culverts again. If you go and take a look at how it was all done over by the Waha, the 15 duplexes they put in there, you can see how it was done properly. And that was what we needed as an engineering company to be able to work in our best interest and to do the best job they can with what funding we have. And this was not done at all. Anyway, that's my comments.
Sagan, any comments?
No comments at this time.
All right, thank you, Sagan. I'll go down to Susan. Okay, Brad, thank you. I know the tender went out, was looked at by our staff as well, with an X number of dollars only that we had for it. And I just want to say thank you for working with us and trying to get the one issue is the road at the end will be done in the spring. I'll be looking for that before the completion is, or to be announced for the completion. So thank you, Brad and Nolan, and have a good night.
Thank you for
Thank you
having,
all.
have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right, and now we go to MHA request to communicate. Aaron, then?
Yeah.
You have the floor, Tara.
So I've included a briefing note with the communication and the MHA, which they had asked to have included just for discussion and to be included in the minutes.
All right, I guess, I don't know if council have anything of that, Sabian, anything of that?
Nothing to add.
Judith?
No, I think it's good. Our last meeting, we did talk a little bit about this, so we kind of know what happened and how we were gonna handle it and all of that, so it's just adding it to the, making sure we have all the information.
All right, Diane?
Yeah, so I have some questions. So, you mentioned in your letter that there's was necessary technical repairs. What was the technical repairs?
So there were actually a number of repairs done. I can't remember offhand what they were, but there was a piece that had been like freezing and we had to have Northland come up and repair it in order to be able to begin making ice. Like I said, I don't have the email of like the list of things. What was it? A brine pipe there was a number of repairs that had to be done under the concrete. They were actually under the corner of the boards. So all of that had to be dug up and then repaired for the brine pipe. And then whenever they after that was repaired, and Northland had left, there was, once the, everything got started up, there was another couple things that had been broken and we needed to get Northland to come back up and do some repairs on that also.
When did this all take place? Was it in October, September,
It was towards the end of October.
or just before our right ice was going in?
So we had, Northland was up during hunt break. And then, so the second issue happened just after we had been here.
Sometime in the middle of October?
The first repairs happened in the middle of October, yeah, and then the other repair happened towards the end of October.
And so towards the end of October was the ice, then you started to put the ice in at that time?
Yeah.
So it took 14 days or 12 days to put the ice in? Is that how long it takes to put ice? I don't know, I'm just asking.
And honestly, it's our first year doing it, so with like the delays and all that stuff, we had a number of, so our only registered ice tech had some sick time in there also. So like in the letter, that is what was.
And we only have one person that does that.
Only one registered ice tech. In order to begin certification for that, you have to be working, within recreation or at an arena for up to over 2 years before you can even start the process of becoming registered and doing the trainings through Orpha.
We do have one employee that's close to being at that mark and he wants to start his training.
Yeah.
So we would have a second ice tech. And then I don't know if this was mentioned before, but we do have a third compressor that has been in commission for the last couple of years. Needs to be completely replaced. That's gonna be about $40,000 to $50,000, but right now we only have 2 compressors and you need 2 compressors to make ice. And if there's a problem with one of the compressors, you can't make ice. But if you have 3 compressors, so one acts as a backup. So say like this, we had this brine pipe, like obviously you still have to fix any issue under the ice surface. But once, like say we had that third compressor, this brine pipe wouldn't have been an issue because we would have had a backup compressor that could make the ice, because then you'd still have 2. So that's another issue. And we actually did have a meeting this week with a potential donor that's willing to maybe donate money towards getting the third compressor.
But the third compressor wasn't stopping us from putting ice in this time because it
Yes.
doesn't have it.
It was, well, kind of, because if we had the third compressor, then the one compressor with the brine pipe issue could have been fixed at a later time. We still could have made ice with the 2 compressors that we would have had working.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we have ice right now with 2 compressors,
Yes, yes.
the way it was without the third. The third is like down the road.
Backup.
Would be nice if it
Yeah.
had, yeah.
The third is a backup. The third is a backup one, but it does, like last year, we had an issue with the compressor as well with the brine. And that's why the ice went in late last year as well, because we had to bring up the guy again. And if we had had the backup compressor, then we would have been able to make ice earlier that year as well. But because we didn't have a backup, if you have any problems with either of your compressors, then you can't make ice.
And so what is the, like, the process from the time it starts? So I understand they put the compressors and everything on, which then cools the pad, the cement pad,
Mhm.
right? And then you start to put water, start to flood.
Water. Yeah,
You start to
and then you have to let it freeze, and then you have to put in another layer and let it freeze and put in another.
And so that whole process takes what, like 2 days, 4 days?
No,
Depends on the
I don't,
Yeah, it depends on the weather, but I mean, it's
Usually over a week.
so it takes 7 days to do that with good weather, with cold weather.
I had a conversation with Renee, who is our registered ice tech. It takes about 2 weeks to get it from start to finish with all the stuff that has to be put in within the ice, like all of the lines and all of everything are put in by hand. That all, yeah, with full staff, it takes 2 weeks.
2 weeks with full staff. And full staff is 2 people, 4 people,
At least 3 bodies freezing at one time.
3 people?
We have at least 3 people minimum flooding.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how the process whole works.
Yeah.
So that we can make some decisions at council on timelines going in or time going in and what our other options are to be able to
Yeah.
problem solve
Yeah, and
through this so that we don't have to run into this again.
exactly, but like I said, the
Yeah.
recommendation too, like it's all, like there's so many variability points too. Like, I mean, we just went from having like 30-degree days in October to like
Yeah, but,
snow in the middle of.
yeah, but we also have to know that Moose Factory was skating on November the 4th. And so they have the same temperatures as us, right? So we have to remember that. So as much as we want to say weather, we can say weather because ours didn't go into the
We also
14th.
had a number of others.
Exactly. So weather, I'm just saying, like, when you say weather, I know Moose Factory was stating on the phone, so our weather has. to be
Moose Factory
the same.
has significantly more staff.
And I understand that. I'm just saying, when you say weather, I know where weather was the
It's one
factor.
of the
Yeah.
many.
Yes, but I'm understanding that part. It didn't delay us to the 14th though.
No.
Weather didn't delay us to the 14th. That's what I'm saying. So I just was wondering what has delayed us to the 14th. But now
Yeah.
it's like staff having one person
Mhm.
and then because the issues were all taken care of in October, so that wasn't the issue. And so it was mainly staffing
Mhm.
and then just the process of
Yeah.
just staffing, I guess would say, and not enough techs that can do that job
Exactly.
is the other
If
side
there
of that
is, like,
thing.
if our one tech happens to be sick, then we're out like a whole day.
Yeah, so that's an issue that we have to kind of look at. So,
Like, and that's like ORFA regulations too, like they won't let anybody really start the training until they've been there for 2 years.
yeah,
Or have 2 years of experience working within like the refrigeration arena type of thing,
so
so.
I'm just looking at like problem solving it, like,
Absolutely.
you know, if Moose Factory was in it before, is there a possibility you could be, you know, contracting or getting people on this side from the island and like, is that a possibility? I don't know, but obviously we have to problem solve it. We can't have this happening year after year. We have to be able to problem solve. That's what I'm getting at.
And like, I'm just gonna, like, a few days delay behind the factory is like for the amount of delays that we had, I think we did pretty good for. I understand like the frustration on people.
Yeah,
have,
I
but
think it's the
also-
communication.
We also wanted to get it in, so it's not.
Yeah.
And like in the notes and all of the emails, there wasn't a ton of communication, there wasn't people reaching out, being involved and trying to get.
Yeah,
So
I think people were just frustrated at that point
I
to be able
absolutely
to.
understand frustration, but
I think there was just.
at least if people reach out and give us the opportunity to explain it.
Well, I think they.
And clear some of that understood.
Yeah, like I think people understood that it is just, again, like not knowing why the ice wasn't going in and that's some of the explanation, but then as with knowing that this factory was in, but at the same time, you know, hoping or they're hoping, they're looking at council to make, you know, some decisions, I guess, like if recreation's not making the decisions, then it has to come to council to make those decisions. So, you know, looking at those kind of things. So anyway, thank you.
The only thing I would say, I know it's recommended here that we do the ice installation in October. I would suggest that we not formalize that, just because if we do get that third compressor, we do get additional techs. And if we do have people that are willing to rent the ice, then we can put it in September. I know years ago, we did have it in a bit earlier, when everything like that, so. Future consideration, maybe. We not formalize that per se. Iced out for sure, because I know by the time the end of April comes around, no one wants to skate anymore. Well, except for Todd.
I think
I think
maybe
you
that,
guys did a super job for, we could not do when we had to do the repairs first. We did them. Got the people come back up, or started up and we found that we had to get more break. We had to get qualified people to come up. We only have one ice tech, which we should have 3, and we discussed that here at the table. And it's against the law for us to operate that place without ice tech. We used to have 3 before that was there, but with the changes, we cannot go and train somebody who hasn't got the 2 years experience. So that's not your guys' problem, Vaughn. You know, I realize that. Another thing, that third compressor's been down for years. And we've had discussion here at the table for many times. Are you gonna spend $50,000 to get it fixed? And because the 2 compressors can put the ice in and at the arena, no problem at all. Once the ice is in, apparently they can run it on 1 compressor. But we had this trouble with the curling cup years ago. That is one of the reasons that the curling cup is not up. That compressor is not working. Also, at that time, we were told the header in the curling cup is leaking as well. I know, they had to make them up look at the pipes. I don't know if they looked at the header, but we also had to change the fluid in that third compressor, because we had something that's no longer being used. This has been discussed at this table several times. So I don't see pointing our fingers at our staff. If you wanna get that damn compressor up and fixed, let's say we're gonna take $50,000, whether we come up raising taxes, what we do to do it, let's do it, because I can't go keep blaming our staff when it's our problem. So with that, I think you did the best you could and what we could do, and I appreciate it, and thank you very much. And it looks like we have a lot more staff, they didn't have the issues that we did. Yes, we can do it earlier, but let's work at it, so thank you. Okay, we can move on.
Well, I think at this point, I think we need to be making decisions rather than having it keep coming year after year after year, like you're talking about, like make some decisions and let's go with things.
I'm gonna be putting in an application to this donor to perhaps get it paid for, so wanna just wait a minute. We may not have to spend $50,000 of our money, okay?
Our budget is limited, so if we put 50,000 in a compressor, maybe we're going to cut the or raise the ice time or cut the ice time down or whatever.
I did speak to some people from MMHA about it as well, and there was some interest even, they said, you know, how can we support getting the third compressor? You know, can we do fundraising to maybe raise some money towards it if, you know, I mean, 50,000 is not nothing. It's a significant investment. So, I mean, there was also maybe a partnership available there with MMHA and raising some money towards getting the compressor as well. I think it would make a big difference because again, the last several, like the 2 years I've been here, the ice is running late and it's because of this compressor issue. Because again, we could have made ice sooner if we didn't have to repair that second compressor, right? But we had to wait for that. Well, then you're set back another week or another 2 weeks or however long it takes to get the technicians to come back in and fix it, right? So, I mean, hopefully some of the stuff might pan out, but it's something that we're working on. It is something that we think is important to get going. And I mean, we want to have the ice in sooner. But again, there's a lot of factors and not having the right equipment and the right people is definitely hard.
So I think now we're at a point where, you know, let's be proactive and let's work on it now. So it
Yeah.
doesn't, you know, next year is a much better year, right? We shouldn't be always talking about this. It sounds like as I'm, you know, we talk about it right now when it's crucial and everybody's waiting for it to go in and everybody's looking to get the ice in. And then we have a discussion and then the ice goes in and everything, you know, hockey starts happening for the season. And we don't talk about it till next year when it hits us again. And then as we're talking about it. So if this compressor has been on the books for the last, you know, whatever years, then it's time to make a decision on it. Like whether it's, we buy it, whether we get donated, whether we get it out to the community that we need this extra compressor and that people fundraise for it, like whatever it is, we need to be making decisions. We can't be sitting on this stuff that we know is broken and doesn't work for years and years. That's been the issue here in Moosonee is that, again, we have all these maintenance things that are sitting and nobody ever takes care of them. And that's what staff needs to do is bring them to our attention, or again, they need to be fixing them. That's the other thing, right? So they shouldn't be coming up at these crucial times. So I think this is one, we don't drop the ball on it, we get it going. If there's a donation, if there's a compressor, let's fix it. You know, let's not be leaving it till next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, I've only been here this is my second time, so, I mean. But we will try to get it done this year. Try to find the money, and if not, we can always bring it back to the table and see how you guys are feeling about it. Maybe if this doesn't pan out, we'll bring it back and see.
I mean, we have enough companies in town. When you think of the hospital bill with Parmelo and all these unions, and we have so many companies that if they can't come up with $50,000 for us, there's something wrong, right? I mean, like I think that's why discussions need to happen so that we can start pressuring them and say, hey, we need help here. And I'm sure they'll step up.
Yeah, we
I'm
did
sure.
have
It's just that we always wait till the last minute.
We did have a
and we get
meeting
stuff like this.
even today, and they said, yeah, put in the application, we'll review it,
There's
see what we can do, so. We're gonna be working on doing that application.
You know, this next 4 or 5 years, I think are opportunities because we have so many outside companies coming in, contract companies. And I mean, even if we all put in $5,000, we would have 50,000 in no time. So, you know, it's just a matter of being able to, again, coordinate it, plan it, get it done.
Yep.
One other thing I just wanted to bring up that people realize the compressor's been changed from the original ones, but they were getting old too. We have to start doing a plan on how money in the budget, put in the budget to replace them. Because they're only a life expectancy for so long. Our lift stations, our water plants, are the same. We have to start to look at where we're going to have money to replace these. When we're doing our budget, that's where we have to take things into consideration. Because I mean, they don't last forever. And we know they're, I don't know what the age are. I bet you, but, Cindy, you know how old the present are? I know they've been here for like a long time, and then things are starting to go on, the same with the headers, the pipes, and what the water. We're gonna have to start looking at money and increasing the budget for recreation if we're going to be doing this, and where do we come up with that money on our budget, operating budget? So that's what you're saying, or capital budget, so.
Yeah, I don't think capital, I don't think operating. The funds are out there. You gotta be able to write proposals. You gotta be looking for this funding. You gotta be asking all the time. Like, we don't have the money within our budgets. We don't have the, within the town. There's donators, there's all kinds of funds out there. We need to be able to tap into those funds. And we can't be just looking at the FedNors and there's a lot of nonprofit organizations out there. I know I've sent in quite a few funding areas, that are, and again, I don't know that we maximize them, but that's what we need to be doing. We need to know where, again, planning is correct. We got to plan, we got to know when this, our equipment is past its, prime, or, we have to have a list of those things, and be able to go out and find the funding. Because if we've got 5 years before the next compressor, we got 5 years to find funding and donors and donations, private people, whatever. That's what needs to be done, so.
Okay, we will move on to, verbal from the CEO.
So we were planning to have the audit completed and the presentation into this package. That was originally the plan. The auditors ended up coming back with additional questions and again, last minute, they came back with, oh, well, we need this and we need that. And the treasurer was extremely frustrated. She's very, very frustrated. I will say that. She's like, I don't know what's taking so long. I don't understand why they're asking for this stuff now. Anyways, we don't, we will get it to you as soon as we get it. But I mean, at this point, I think we would be open to perhaps going to market on a new auditor for next year.
I'd say
KPMG.
I think this is not the only organization that's in this right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know that there's other organizations, but I mean, they've got their audits now. They didn't get them on time, but they got them now. We still seem to be perhaps bottom of the list. I don't really know. I know that we've been pushing very hard to get this audit. And we were really, really hoping that it was going to be into this package, and everything was kind of set that it was going to be in this package. And then they come back and say, oh, no, wait, we have this, we need that. We need to talk to some guy who did some landfill plans 6 years ago. We need 20 invoices from 2020 or something. It's just, anyways, it's been extremely frustrating for our treasurer, especially. I know she's been very stressed about it, and she's been really pushing hard to get this done. Unfortunately, we do not have it yet. But again, as soon as we get it, we will call a special meeting if need be, to get it out to you. But yeah, we're, at this point, we are open if council decides that they'd like to go to market for a new auditor, staff would be in support.
But head down to your auditor and RFP for auditors. I don't know how council feels.
Yeah, time, I think.
I think staff is took over.
I mean, obviously, we'll stay with them for this year, because
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's almost done, but for next year, it's been 11. Our fiscal year ends in January, right? But typically, the treasurer said that for years, we would typically get it in May. That was always May was the month that you would get it. And then last year they had the excuse of all those new AR, whatever they were, new adjustments that were added in. But this year, We don't know why they're so held up. It's actually getting to the point where it's actually later than last year. And, you know, we already went through all these adjustments, so what's the issue this year? You know, other than that, we're just, you know, perhaps on the back burner.
I think it's good actually to, whether it's auditors or people running the water plant or watching the local and RFP, because make them sharpen their pencil and realize they're not the only one taking all business all the time.
You can put some parameters into your RFP, right? That, of maybe the way you need it done, like, you know, documents can only be requested during this time. So, you know, these 2 months, that's it, because you don't have staff to keep running and looking for them all the time. So you have restrictions of when they can request documents, and they need to be on the ball to get everything they need during those 2 months. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, she's also said she sent them like the same documents multiple times and they're losing them and
Yeah.
like, I have no idea why, like, I mean, you saw she. And she was ready to go to market today.
Right, we will move up petition to correspondence, whether I'm not even Jack in the plan. I need that information basically. No comment from anybody on it or? No. We move, there's no motion. Reading of the bylaw, community safety zone. Please come down.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-219. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 25-2025, being a bylaw to designate parts of highways under municipal jurisdiction as community safety zones, and to amend Schedule A to include additional designated areas, and the corporation of the town of Moosonee being read a first and second time, be deemed to be read a third time, and finally passed.
Could I have a mover for this motion? Susan, second. David. Moved by Susan Hunter, second by David Nakaji. Any discussion on this? Within our last package. No discussion, we will vote on it. All in favor? Opposed, carries. Right, we will move on to council code of conduct.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-220. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 26-2025, being a bylaw to adopt a code of conduct for members of council and local boards, and the corporation of the Town of Moosonee being read a first and second time, be deemed to be read a third time.
Never move. Second, Susan. Moved by Carmen Tozer, second by Susan Nakaji. Again, this was in our last packet. And it was, it came from a recommendation from our integrity commissioner that we have one of these. We all know what is our code of conduct. Also, it was recommended that on the same, we had at the same time. So it's just, maybe a straightforward, guidelines we have to go through. Then if there is a complaint launched against anybody, it does not be a council member of anybody, to the integrity commissioner, there's, you know,
Yeah.
have pretty strict stuff in there when you read it, so I'm encourage everybody to be familiar with it. And, yes.
I just have a question. Says all members of council and local boards, what are the local boards? Any board that we sit on as council members?
I think it means like, I think it's just supposed to be inclusive, like a lot of other councils have, like, for instance, like a library board that would report to council. The school board is separate because it's like a separate voting thing or whatever.
Like, the police services board, we have a separate
Yeah, yeah, something like that, just like.
situation table.
Right in here actually. Even our, conduct ourselves out in the public, really get right in here too. So, pretty straightforward. Nothing to have. Any further questions? Stevie, any questions? Okay, Susan?
No.
Diane?
No.
Carmen? All right, so with that, we will vote on all in favor. Okay, favor? All in favor? Carried. Temporary boarding bylaw.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-221. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 27-2025, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and treasurer of the corporation of the town of Moosonee to borrow certain sums to meet current expenditures for the year 2025. And the corporation of the town of Moosonee being read a first and second time, beginning to be read a third time.
All right, can I have a mover, please? Carmen, do you move? Sure. Okay, David second. Moved by Carmen Tozer, seconded by David McAfee. Any discussion on this? That's basically housekeeping.
Yeah, so this is something you do every year, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's just been every year.
Just as the
So we're,
cash flow or something rolls and
okay.
I think it's supposed to say 2026. Where it says 2025 in the bylaw. And then it is supposed to say.
year 2026.
Yes.
So you can first,
Oh, I'm
Make that
over
change.
there. I'm
I'll make that change. That That's an extension for the year of 2026. What, thanks over. Sorry, I made that change. Do you want me to read it again? please?
Yes. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 27-2025, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and treasurer of the corporation of the town of Moosonee to borrow certain sums to meet current expenditures for the year 2026, and the corporation of the town of Moosonee being ready first and second time, being to be ready third time and finally passed.
Right, so you, Carmen, you still okay with moving this?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay, because we did change the thing from 25 to 25. Counselor Napoli, you're okay. And with that, we will vote on all in favor. All right, fees and services.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-222. Be it resolved that the council of the corporation of the town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 28-2025, being a bylaw to impose fees for certain services rendered by the municipality and to repeal bylaw number 8-2025 and the corporation of the town of Moosonee being read a first and second time, being to be read a third time and finally passed.
Now a mover. David second. Susan. Right, moved by Fabian Naki, second by Susan Hutchins. Again, does this have to do with our fee schedule where we changed the one?
We just changed the one section, everything else stayed the same. We only changed Schedule H to include the language at the bottom to allow for flexibility within leases. Schedule H. Which is fine. It's like this. Go ahead.
Our building fees are still in here, and there seems to be still an issue with, the way we're charging our building fees. The building permit fees.
I think, what I see on here is that we changed the one fee for the 6,000, is that correct? 6,000 square feet. And then we That's the only one I think.
Alright.
What would we change?
We changed schedule H, but maybe the other one wasn't updated.
Functioning.
We sent the building,
This is.
but we did change.
Change schedule C, yeah. Do the schedule C, we changed that.
And my schedule seasons.
I was gonna say, you may be missing them the way it was copied.
Oh, mine is missing C.
Yeah, so
Carmen's.
it's on the original, the one, the packet you sent us.
Yes.
PFC?
You have C?
PFC.
Definitely, you're gonna have to speak on it.
Can I see it? Can I just take a look? No.
These were we changed on the building, is that correct?
Yeah, sorry, this wasn't about changing this, but we did change the building permit fees. Like we are charging the new rates that you guys decided on. But maybe this is just an older copy that we updated by accident. But more or less what we want to address is Schedule H. But the building permit fees have changed. We might have just grabbed an accidentally copy, but we can if you guys are good with Schedule H, we'll change the building permit fees. We'll put on the right copy.
And just bring it back, or what do you do? Because I think there's still something wrong with it, and seen correspondence that came in.
Well, that's what we're waiting with that at another
That's
meeting.
fine, but that's what I'm saying.
Now, we're gonna deal with that, because the whole bylaw would have to change. But we did just change the fees, for the two, I believe we did.
Yeah, we did two, we did the 600 square meters, and then we did the shell buildings.
Yeah.
And we updated the fees for those two. Again, we might have just pulled a copy, but again, we'll fix that, but if you guys are good with Schedule H, that's the main thing that we want to
We
pass.
already passed the bylaw on that.
We already passed this, it's just,
Yeah.
we cracked it incorrect.
And if you want to change the bylaw, there's a whole procedure we have to do.
Mhm.
Discussion.
I'm just saying that there's something still wrong with it from the original, like, from when we
Oh, we
originally
have to-
looked at it.
Diane, we'll have to deal with that at another meeting.
I'm just saying that they're like.
You'll have to bring it back up on
Yeah,
the-
that's what I'm saying, is that there's still something wrong with the building permit fees that we're charging, that they're much different than other places, that's all.
We agreed on what's there right now. There's been a motion, a bylaw been passed, everything. So if you want to change that bylaw, we have to go back into that discussion and we'll come to.
Yeah.
Rather than just say,
The piece, like I said, that we discussed at the last meeting that we changed for this meeting is the Schedule H. But we will update the correct copy. If you guys are good with Schedule H, we'll update the correct copy. The building permit fee, that's the correct.
for children,
Yeah. As long as it's okay.
we're not ready.
There is a couple of other fees in here that, I questioned as well,
Well,
Again,
I can come up when we revisit the whole.
What's that?
Schedule if we wanted to bylaw. Is that correct?
Yeah, like usually we do it like once a year or something, but this was just an amendment to include that one piece for the leasing.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, we'll vote on things.
Just for,
Opposed?
then what, can I, 1 second here, so I just want to check. So this thing with the schedule we're doing now is
Schedule
is
H,
just Schedule H, right?
just
all.
Schedule H. Everything else will stay the same.
We'll revisit it. Is what-
Yes, see. If you guys
Okay,
want.
that's fine, I was just making sure I have that here.
Okay, all right, so, again, we'll vote on anything, all in favor now. Vote, carried. So we're gonna last.
You lost it.
Intern lady for the 2026, please come down.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-223. Be resolved that the Council and Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves bylaw number 29-2025, being bylaw to provide an interim tax levy for 2026 and the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee being ready first and second time, being to be ready third time to finally pass.
For that, I will move, please. Fabian, seconder, Carmen. Moved by Fabian McAfee, second by Carmen Tolton. Open for discussion, but Victoria, maybe we just touch on what this is.
Again, this is just one that we do every year, just basically you guys are putting the tax levy. There's any questions about that?
We, the taxes come out in 2 parts. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, I call it, okay, first and second, this is just that they're going to be able to send the first tax bills out. Then we'll have to have a discussion with our budget, what we're doing. And then if there's a raise or decrease, or whatever, it'll come on that, that is the final one. This is just so that they can get prepared to start sending the tax bill out early in the year, instead of later. The first time. Any questions? No questions, all in favor? Moves carried. Alright. Ready to move along. Okay, discussion item, I will Counselor Right.
I got 2 items here, item 2 and item 4. Mid-council.
So I guess that will be the first one, and then you'll leave the room.
Are we doing the bylaw thing first?
Pardon?
I thought this was on the agenda.
I do that afterwards.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'll do them all except for 2 and 4 and then, Carmen can. So the first one I have is regarding the outdoor rink and an update on the installation date of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously at this point, we have to have negative temperatures for this foreseeable future. They're actually planning on doing 2 rinks this year, one at the base. Oh, yes, okay. Like, why are you gonna? One at the base, at the park at the base, which will be a smaller rink, and then another one, at the, ball field park. The plan is to probably build more like a frame this year and put, like lining in the frame to help with because a lot of the issues we've had with doing the outdoor ice installation is they're just dumping water on the ground. And then that water can like seep out into the ground or it, goes into the snow and it's not really like contained, so it takes longer to make ice. So we're doing a new approach this year, which is going to be to build a frame and to put lining in the frame and then to put the water in there and freeze it more like,
I know people make outdoor rinks. I'm not sure how they do it, but I do see that they have little boards.
Yeah, they put little frame,
But I don't know if they do
tarps in them.
they do put tarps. Okay, I wasn't sure if they did.
Yeah, a lot of times. So we are trying a new technique this year. So I know too, like the managers are new this year. I know last year, we were a long time getting the ice in. So this year we're hoping to get it in a lot sooner, as long as the weather again permits, because obviously if you get positive temperatures, it's gonna hurt your ice. But yeah, right now, I mean, we can't really give you a date until we sort of know like for sure, like I know there's still potentially some warmer weather coming up. So we just need to wait and see, but I mean, ideally, it would be nice if we could get it in, like over Christmas break or before, possibly, again, depending on the weather, but like ideally Christmas break would be nice.
Yeah.
Nice to have, at least one of them done for Christmas break would be nice. But I think January is probably like last year, we didn't get it in February. I think that was late. This year, I think we can get it in January.
Yeah, I think last year again, we did have warm weather, but we had quite a bit of cold weather prior to. And then by the time they decided to put it in, it was warm weather. So again, having to hit it when the cold weather is here. And so, yeah, like, because if you wait, it's gonna get warm, or not totally warm, but I mean, maybe too warm to make ice, right? So
Yeah.
you have to hit it in those cold
Yeah.
spells that come up. So, yeah, like December is kind of ideal, just again, because I know there's a lot of kids that, you know, they don't necessarily play in hockey leagues and are, you know, over the holidays. We have the tournaments that play at the arenas, and that's busy, but there's lots of kids that just kind of hang about during the Christmas holidays, and it would be nice to have. And I know that rink gets busy when it's, when the ice is in, and especially at the ball field, like, it's a busy little place for kids there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, ideally, like,
The
if
sooner
we're
we can get
hoping to get it in, at least one of them done for Christmas break, and then like maybe the larger one, maybe not till a bit later, depending on, but like definitely earlier, I think, this year than last year. But again, we're doing a new technique, so hopefully this works out better. But it's gonna be a bit of a learning curve.
and hopefully the ball field one, because the base has very few kids now. Like, I live out on the base, and there was lots, yeah, there was a lot of kids at one time, but there's very few kids now at the base.
2 families moved away.
Yeah, yeah.
There goes 10 kids.
And that makes a difference. But yeah, there's very few kids on the base now, so just to keep that in mind. And I mean, not very often do you get kids from uptown, especially
Yeah, it's
up across the bridge, that actually goes down to the base for something. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of make sure to put that on the agenda ahead of time, so that discussion could happen and plans could start to happen. And yeah, we don't, you know,
Yeah.
like you're saying, the boards and all that, and the liner doesn't need to have cold weather, but
yeah, hopefully it
getting
doesn't.
things ready ahead of time is always good.
So, and then even if it does melt a bit, that water will stay in it. So then if it gets cold again, it'll freeze. So hopefully that will be a better technique. So it's doing something new this year to try to address the issues from last year.
And so my second one was an update on the airport lighting. It's becoming an issue again, I understand. I'm not sure what, I know we had several discussions about it, and that I thought there was something that was happening that was fixing that, but
Yeah, we did get funding, and we are in talks with TC about securing a project manager. Steve and I were supposed to meet about it yesterday, but then we had this giant fire where he was there for 24 hours, so we haven't had a chance to follow up about it. Hopefully later this week we'll get to meet up and kind of put something out, but yeah, I'd like to bring a RFP sooner, but I'm pretty sure Solar Brand, which is like the electricians that come up, I'm pretty sure Steve has them scheduled to come up. I don't know when. I can look into it, but I think that Solar Brand is supposed to be coming up again to do repairs on lights.
yeah, I mean, that wasn't flights that are, because there's late flights coming in now, and they're not able to come in mind, or they weren't on that day anyway, so they had to bypass us. So my next item I had on the last one, which was the Moosonee sign, but after hearing from some community members, I wanted to bring it back up again to say, is it like maybe an option for us is to say, have a couple of different options for signs and have the community vote on what they would like to see as a sign. So having a couple of options or a few options, and then having the community, I think is, because I've heard of a few ideas that people brought forward, and they were pretty good ideas, so. Okay. So that was why I put it back on. I know that we talked about it.
Ron was supposed to, so they were gonna unbury the sign. They didn't unbury it. Then they moved a bunch of stuff. Anyways, he told me he's gonna get it this week. But then he was actually gonna do it yesterday, but then the fire happened in the main break, so then they couldn't. So hopefully this week we'll be able to get out that piece of water tower at least to check it out, see what kind of conditions it's in. As a potential option, but we can put out, we can like put our thinking hats on and try with some other designs perhaps and put something out and see what people would like. do like an online voting or something.
Or even if you, yeah, like a couple of different styles of signs or ideas for signs and then putting them out there and then, having people vote or put in suggestions.
Okay, suggestions.
Just
I
like,
know at the water tower, when they took it down, they cut the big yield goose out. They were looking at putting that in the center of the sign with the Moosonee pre-syllabics and that, Moosonee emblem thing. And they were going to have that big, that was one,
But not over here too, then.
I can't remember, I remember somewhere like that.
Where?
Welcome to Moosonee and it was,
Yeah.
but they also wanted to have more, like our crest and that, very small pre-syllabics. So they wanted to have more, native, sort of pre-syllabics. There was quite a discussion.
maybe this could be incorporated into our strategic planning sessions.
Yeah.
That could be another idea.
I did post the RFP, just so you guys know, I did post the RFP, so it's out there.
So my next one is the ice rink and installation of it and how, obvious council, we need to be discussing what that looks like rather than, leaving it as a blank. So I don't know if some things can come to us at the next meeting. What possible dates we could be looking at for installation. For both an ice rink, for both the ice rink, indoor or the arena and the outdoor. I'd like to see anyway, on a proposal or not a proposal, on a policy maybe.
This is, something I'd like to step in and say. We need consensus from council. That's council right, if you want to say yes, then maybe we can put something as a motion on the floor. Installation, how we could have a discussion and come up with something on a motion that's in the direction.
I
You mean
think,
get it written down, you mean?
Yeah,
I think I would like,
In this day and out that day. I don't know.
I'm not crazy about that idea, but I would like to know if we can get, a compressor. Cause that will determine when we can put it in. I'd rather do it that way first, to see if she can to come up with a plan to get a compressor, and that way you can better determine a starting point. But I'm always for starting earlier. At the ending, I'm not so much concerned about, but starting earlier is definitely something I would like to see us do.
that's why I want to put it on the table.
Another thing that we could do, and I don't really know if I could say this because more work me. But there's a lot of, it seems like there's some funding opportunities out there for like making municipal buildings more green, making them more energy efficient. So that could also be an opportunity. Obviously, our arena is not the best insulated, which again is a weather factor for us because if it does get warm, then a lot of condensation and then it wrecks the ice. So, I mean, if the arena was better insulated, obviously that would be a big factor in being able to put the ice in earlier. Having the other compressor would be a big factor in getting it in earlier and having an additional ice tech would be another big factor. So right now, again, like maybe that is some funding we could look into to get some additional insulation to make our building more green, but would also allow us to put the ice in sooner.
So what I'm hearing again now, again, that's why I thought before, and Susan and taking a step in as well. If there's something that you want our staff to use to work at, come up, like Carmen said, with a plan, how we're gonna get that compressor, installation, and then we sit down and as a council say, okay, we want to have the ice in and which units, for example, on October the 30th. Out on April the 1st, for example, that one, or do you want to just with what we have, try to go with what we have?
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
I think as long as we're taking some proactive steps to show the community that we can open the ice rink earlier, then I think we should take that direction.
I think we've had the conversation a few times now. And it was always in my head that we were going to go with trying to figure out the compressor, right? And then, because the more you get out of your arena, the better it is for the community. So I don't know, does the compressor help only with ice, or is that like, is it other stuff too, like say in soccer when it's too hot in there? Does that,
No.
no, it just does ice stuff?
Yeah, it's just it's just like the brine, it's
Yeah.
like the liquid that goes in the pipes
Yeah,
to keep
okay.
the surface cool. So the compressor like is what runs
It's what
the
runs it
brine,
and then-
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it is also a critical piece, like if we are looking at potentially bringing back the curling club, we need the third compressor to be able to
Right.
manage both facilities.
Well,
And that's
we should have it anyway. for back-
Yes, it should be, like, it would be good for a backup, but as like if you're asking like, what else can the compressor do, it could also do that.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's where I was going, because we're talking about, if you're gonna ask me what I think we should have the ice in as early as we possibly can. And then I'm not really worried about the end of it, because you come back from, you know, little NHL, and then there's maybe a week where they do a couple activities, and then you're done with it. But the earlier we could get it in would be better. So I like the idea of her looking for the funding or a way to get the compressor, so we can go with that. And then hatch down some dates.
Yeah, and again, it's still dependent on weather, unless we get the additional insulation, because like, if we do put it in early because we get some cold weather, but then it warms up again, it will literally drips all over the ice surface, and then it ruins the ice, and then you have to scrape it down and restart. So,
But we still, what I'm hearing here, should get a report from our staff, from. And these are all, option number one is to put it in, and don't quote me on the dates, November the 10th, it will be in by, okay, with the system that we have right now, possibly. Okay, if we have the new system with new compressor insulation, could go in earlier. I think until we get that information, I think, and we have to stop to work on, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so, again, do you want to give a timeline when you want it back?
Next meeting.
can you get it insulated by that?
We don't want to, let it just.
Yeah, a 30-day update, you know, even a 30-day update, at least we're keep working on it.
30-day up, you know. That's good.
Just to let you know, though, that'll be like Christmas.
How about this, January meeting,
January, okay.
you know, first meeting in January.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I mean, we can, like I said, I already have a couple irons in the fire. I am aware of a funding stream that I think we could access. So we'll check that out.
Right, well, we're also,
But sorry, too, it would also require, like, if we applied for this funding stream, it would also require a commitment from council for some cash as our portion. So just as caveat to that, like, it's not just.
okay, you just took some of the words out.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because one thing, don't forget, we get funding for the insulation and everything else that we have to cover.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good on them. You confirm,
So my next one, it just kind of leads into what we were just talking about. So at the last meeting, I did have the shelf-ready projects. And so this meeting, I wanted to talk about, you know, having an actual document where we're keeping track. And so even this compressor to me is a small shelf item that, you know, yes, we're working on it. Or again, the insulation, those are all things that we need to cost out and take a look at, because yeah, this proposal or wherever you're thinking for funding could fall through. But we shouldn't stop there. We need to keep looking for funding for all of these areas. And if we don't have a good sense of what they are, like on a list.
Yeah, like just keep it running.
Yeah, just keeping a running, and that we all know about it, because again, sometimes in, you know, in the work I do or who I'm talking to, it may come up and can we talk about this or whatever? And I'm sure everybody else around the table may have opportunities as well. So I think if we have it in a document that we could be looking at, and that these are our priorities, or these are all the shelf-ready projects we want to have, I think that is a good way for us to be able to hopefully be able to address some of these some of this stuff that we're noticing, or that will help us.
Okay.
just a spreadsheet or something.
Like a shared spreadsheet.
It's a spreadsheet, yeah, or it's in our package every couple of months or something, or every whatever report or something that's in our package so that we can actually still see it, and I'm sure we'll add to it. And hopefully we'll be taking items off of it. So,
Maybe I'll just add a few things on there that we already did, so we can like.
That will also come into play.
that's really good. So the next one, so the next one certainly leads into it. I know that, earlier when this hospital was starting a year and 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we had Carmel that came and, different people that came and talked to us about how, they were gonna support our town and that, they wanted projects that they could, kind of put their name on and fund for us. And I don't know where that's at, and what that is. My only fear is that it'll be similar to what happened to us with De Beers. They were at us, at the beginning of their project. They came and left and Moosonee got nothing from them. So I don't want that to happen with, these groups that are here in our town. If, they came to us and, they wanted to work on making things better for us. So, what are they? What is it? What are we working with them on? And again, it could be this list that we have. I don't know. But we need to be hammering it down.
Yeah, we do have bi-weekly calls with their team regarding upcoming events, activities that they could participate in or donate to. They do have like a donation policy that includes a form that we filled out. So they have donated already to several smaller things. They're planning to donate to the toy drive. They're planning to participate in the Santa Claus parade this year. So they want to be more active in the community. They want to contribute more. They've done prize donations for our Fall Fest. They did prize donations for our park grand opening. So they have been contributing. Again, they're not like these massive big ticket items, but they have been participatory and contributing at least in small ways. Like I said, we do have a bi-weekly call where we discuss opportunities for them to be part of those kinds of things, and they are very open to doing that. Like I mentioned earlier, we did have a meeting with a donor regarding the curling club and the compressor. I don't want to like overcommit them to anything, but they said put the application in. So
I think I can only speak for myself, but I was under the impression when they had come and they were meeting with us with regards that they were talking about much bigger ticket items. And I understand these donations and that, and I mean, I think it'd be good for the public and for council to know what they are contributing to, because I was not in the impression that, a case of water here and there, maybe, but I wasn't under any impression that they were contributing in any other way, because it's not visible to the community and all that they're doing that, right? So to me, I don't think that they are, because I didn't know until you just said it.
yeah,
But I was under the impression when they had approached us 2 years ago that if they were talking about a much bigger significant items. And I don't know that we have that yet.
no, we're working on that. Yeah.
And so I guess that's my question is what is it that we're working on?
Yeah, sorry, the compressor and the curling club is what's on the table with them right now. And that is also like moving our fitness center to a new facility and needing to get that up and running. So it would be significant investment. And then they did say that they would be working with Horizon North as well on a donation for the town of some kind. Again, like there's no guarantee that they might choose this project. They might come back and say, we can only do this much of the project, or we can only donate set amount. I don't know. Ultimately, it's in their court. All we can do is continue to meet with them, express interest in what, I had brought the curling club to you guys earlier and said, do you guys want me to work on this? Do you want me to push it forward? And the answer was yes.
Mhm.
So this is, what I've been doing. So that's kind of, where things are at with that, but their team does seem very committed to contributing to the community and they have attended several events. They go to the hockey tournaments, they want to be interacting with the
Yeah, I
community.
understand all of that. I just, again, you know, like I understand, I see them in the community, I'm at career fairs with them, I know
Yeah.
all that too. But again, I just know that they were gonna make a bigger significant.
Yeah. There's no-
Donation, and I think the public should know that,
Yeah.
you know, they are planning on what they do, because I mean, again, we need
They
to
are
be
excited
looking at
about the curling club
Yeah.
opportunity. They think it'd also be great for their guys as well, to maybe have a curling league where maybe one night a week, they have like 1 or 2 nights a week, they do Pomerleau has curling or something. So it's also something for their employees, but also for the community. So they're really interested in it. And like she said, just put the application in and see what happens. So.
And yeah, so I think that's just why I put it on there, is because I just wanted to make sure there was something that we were working on, or gonna, you know, that they were, that we were talking with them about. And I know we did say the curling club, and, so yeah, that's good, kind of good news, and hopefully the community's hearing us, from our video thing, so that, you know, people that are definitely in the, interest of, you know, running a curling league and bringing all that back is gonna hear it. That, there's a possibility, no promises, but again, we are working with Carmelo to try and get some of these things done. Okay, so that's really good to know. And so my last item is, I understand, and I know when we first came on, that, again, through Waha and the, Carmelo, that, there was an Indigenous committee that was, put in place, right? And I know that at that meeting, when it came to the table of choosing a representative, it was Jay Montour, because it's an Indigenous committee and an Indigenous person should be representing us at that committee. I understand that's not happening right now, that we have somebody that's non-Indigenous, yourself, that's on that committee.
No, nobody.
Nobody's on that committee? Okay, so I understood. So who is the representative on that
We
committee?
never did have a representative on them. Jay was only an observer, not a, because of the Moosonee, discussed with the previous council, I believe it was.
Awesome.
That because we have so many different First Nations here, it could lopside it. We are not a First Nation community, and we've discussed that if we have a person on there, which looks like, let's use, for example, a First Nation person from Albany, they would have 2 representatives on that. But it was suggested that a Tagua person be on it, because there's nobody from Tagua from this area.
I don't agree with that. I
I'm
don't
not,
agree
I'm
with
not saying
that.
I agree, I'm just telling what council.
Well, I don't know which council, because I don't agree with that. That's an Indigenous community committee, then it should have representation on there of Indigenous people. And if I'm from Moosonee or somebody else is from Moosonee, we're there to represent Moosonee as an Indigenous person, not necessarily our First Nation. So I don't think that argument that you're having and putting out right now is a good
I'm
argument
not
at all.
arguing, I'm just telling what council discussed.
Okay, well, I don't know which council, because it wasn't when I wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was when Jay was on,
Years ago.
acting.
Yeah, well, yeah,
He was on acting. At that time, the council that was here, and I'm only one vote, and they're repeating what was decided, that if that group is supposed to work as a group for the whole area, not just the community. Okay, that's what we were told at that time.
it's called an Indigenous, what's it called?
Advisory.
It's an Indigenous Advisory Committee, and it's an Indigenous Advisory Committee because it's supposed to have Indigenous people sitting on there advising on the new
From each-
hospital. From each community and from the town. And when it came up at council, at the time I remembered it, that the person that we had chosen to be on it, if we're still talking about the same, was Jay. Because Jay was our only Indigenous person at the time in a managing position, and so he was the one that was representing. We don't have anybody there now, that is for the town, that is an Indigenous person, and it needs to be an Indigenous person.
But I know we did some.
So it could be somebody from council, and I'm quite willing to go on the council, if that's the case. I'm quite willing to go on and represent the town of Moosonee. as I am a citizen of it as well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
There would talk about a tag, more tag to balance, they have no representative on that time. So it's,
But this is not the committee that you're even sitting on then. And I'm talking about, so you're not on it, so nobody's on it, so there's nobody on there, so we should need to have somebody on there for the town. For the town, community of Moosonee and the town of Moosonee. And like I say, I'm quite willing to go, if nobody else is wanting to go, I'm quite willing to sit on it. But I do know they need a representative from the town of Moosonee.
Like yesterday?
Well, not yesterday, but obviously it's an empty
Yeah.
vacant position right now that nobody's filling, so we need to get it filled.
How
Is
do you
it
go
one or
about getting
two
it
seats?
filled?
You just
Is it
let
one
me
or two
know,
seats?
like who's gonna be on the Who's gonna be represented? Moosonee.
community reacted as a committee
Mhm.
to make sure that the local Aboriginal people have representatives for opportunity jobs. And then, but they were a committee. And we were not a First Nation winter. Yeah, they put that belonged at
Yeah.
Catholic.
W6.
Yeah,
Okay. And so we are one of the W
Yeah,
six, and,
yeah.
and so that's the representation, somebody from the town of Moosonee, an indigenous person from the town. of Moosonee. On that committee.
Wow.
Like I say, I'm quite willing to do it.
That's what I was gonna say, well,
Yeah.
go right ahead. I mean, I don't know, like,
That's all I wanted.
like if it already, I mean, if
Yeah.
that's just my opinion, right? If it's already,
I know they need
that
that.
need that needs to be filled right away, or.
Yeah. Well, obviously
I
it's
mean,
vacant
I
right
would-
now, and it's
I
been
would-
vacant for I don't know how long. Since Jay has left, it's been vacant. Well, I'm guessing because Jay was the last one. He's been gone almost 2 years now. Yeah, so he's been gone, so nobody's been representing the town of Moosonee on that committee then. So if nobody's been doing it for 2 years, I'm quite.
Like, we have to.
I would just.
Or do we have to like say, okay, that's what I wanna know.
Have to get
Yeah.
legal advice on that.
Okay, well, we can do that then.
We have to have legal, we have to definitely get legal advice.
It sounds like an important,
Well, I think we
have
need to
somebody
have.
And then that's the thing is when we do both. Yeah. Does that have to be a conflict or share for the room? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we can look into it.
Yeah.
let's chill last the lawyer and figure it out and we'll go from
Because
there.
I don't know how.
I mean, just to let you guys know, I don't sit on the committee or anything like that, but I do have a relationship with Pomerlow and I do speak to them on a regular basis. So I mean, it's not that we're never not talking to them.
Yeah, this is
But in like.
yeah, this was another group that, yeah, it's Indigenous, I can't remember the title of it.
Advisory, yeah.
Advisory, Indigenous Advisory Group that they put in very early.
Mhm.
Carmelo put in place very early, and yeah, there's representation on there from the 6 communities. And, that's all of my items.
I don't know if you remember the law. Yeah, but I don't know who they'll come to or not, but actually Trevor was first put on it.
Okay,
And,
no, let's be for me.
We removed it. And, well, that's why the whole discussion came up. But he wasn't at the original for one thing. All right, and then Jay went in and sat in as an advisor because we were not a First Nation.
Yeah.
We were missing this balance. And this is supposed to be for First Nation, representing First Nations. So there was some stuff on that, so I don't know the story. But,
Yeah, we should get
Yeah,
We can get some more information
Yeah.
I
about
was
it.
saying, whichever way you look at it, if there's a spot that needs to be filled, we should be filling it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that.
I just don't want to put it.
Okay.
You can read from me. Alright, get the bylaw for the draft bylaw. If you have it in front of you, that's right, won't we open that?
Yep.
And this is to do with a lot of stuff that we have some control where we have. I don't know how to put it. Fire today, okay? Have we had a fire? How do we force somebody to clean it up, move it off, or another property that's on Logan Road, all that stuff around there? It's hazardous, it's dangerous. We have no, somebody can leave a hole wide open, I think it's falling in, that kind of stuff. We don't have it.
Yeah, it's property standards. I thought we had a property standard one. Didn't we talk about not
Clean yard bylaw.
We have clean yards. We have clean yards. This is different than that. So this is, enforceable through the building department. So there's also a lot of provisions in here to protect tenants. For instance, you have to have a refrigerator in your kitchen. And if a landlord doesn't give you a refrigerator, you can actually go and file a complaint under the property standards and say, I need a refrigerator in my house and my landlord's not giving me one. There's things in here about making buildings safe. If there's broken windows, you have to replace them. If there's a hole in the ground, you have to fill it up or cover it up so that people don't fall into it.
Dead tree hanging over.
Right, if you have a retaining wall that's like crumbling down onto the sidewalk or something, you can enforce those things and say, this is not meeting our property standards. So it's through, the building department, the bylaw, enforcement. So basically, it's making sure that properties and buildings are in a good state of, repair and in a safe condition. It's a big one. Again, if you guys need time, we can look it over. I mean, I just sent it to you earlier today. Again, I was actually gonna put this in the December meeting, but because of the fire that just happened, if I had put it in December meeting, we wouldn't have passed it until January, so we kind of want to just put it on the table now. If there was urgency from council to want to get this moving, we could pass it at the December meeting. Should this be something that you guys want to do? So I don't know if you want to just take like a few minutes and look it over or.
And I was talking with these police, telling them about, even that chimney standing and things like that. And, about the other vacant buildings, being open or sticking it in, everything like that. There's not much they can do about it, there's not much we can do about it, in fact, we have a. But somebody goes and digs a hole wide open, and pour water and shit falls into it. We can't go force them to go in and, this works with the building. So we've been looking at this with the shape of the other lodges and everything, been, trying to get them closed up, taken down or something. We had no, this gives us a little bit of what the building department, right?
Yeah. So, on page 34, it actually talks about vacant buildings and vacant properties, if that was of interest.
I know you want to rush this, but I would like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to, go through it, because there seems to be some stuff there. I just want to make sure. I don't,
That's why I said draft on it too. Like,
It's a draft for sure, and we'll take any feedback back and make changes or.
And maybe at the next meeting, having an update on, bylaw enforcement.
Mhm.
What's that look like for us and sort of to bring on more bylaw stuff if we're not really taking care of anything we currently have, then,
if this falls
I
under.
mean, if we're not able to look after that, then.
This falls hand in hand with the building code. They don't do it, the building, Ontario Building Code.
Like the building department will enforce it, but this isn't the building code, but it's like, it's kind of like an adjacent bylaw to it that differs from municipality to municipality. So like certain municipalities might have different property standards than other municipalities, depending on what the wants and needs of the council and community are. This one was drafted by RSM. This one's kept pretty like standard. They kept it broad. They kind of looked at a few different places and put it together. But like, certain cities might even have like, there's like some cities might have a lot on historical buildings, for instance. We don't have a lot of historical buildings, and we have a few, but you know, like some neighborhoods, like they'll have like those old farmhouses and you can't just renovate them or tear them down. That's in the Property Standards Act, that you can't just do stuff like that. So we don't have anything like this as far as I know. But I think it would be something that would be of value to Moosonee.
For people to board up windows too, like, you know, things like that.
Yeah, and it's, again, it's about making properties safe and in good condition is the key of the policy, of the bylaw. Is that safe in good condition?
We will bring it back with the meeting.
Okay.
If you have anything in the meantime, please get a hold of Victoria, but
Yeah, if you guys would like, if you wanna just email me if you have any questions or comments on it. I can bring it as a bylaw to the next meeting, and if you guys are comfortable passing the bylaw, then you can, and if not, we can just do a first reading. Or we can kick it to the next meeting or whatever, so.
ready. So with that, we will go to closed session. Thank you everyone for coming, and I'm moving to Pam.
They're actually approving for. Really, no one used to have the beach for this, so they actually paints.
I think,
Donna said she got a letter of release. And then we'll watch them do.
I don't know. I had to go for 3:15, I don't know if that applies.
No, we're still recording. But you're.
They should.
Yeah. We're just waiting to see if people from Moosonee. Is there?
You can just do stop recording too.
If we didn't think that we called.
Just do stop recording, then you can just resume.
Oh, that's, we were talking about applying for that.
Good, will you? It should, well. I think.
Oh, you have a number there? 224.
Okay, so we'll do the resolution, then we go into camera. Be resolved that this meeting moves in camera at 00p.m. For the purpose of discussing personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal employees. We have a mover, please. Susan, seconder. You don't have to move it, we can actually second it, and you start moving into camera. Not all in favor? Vote carried. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, I must, I advise, I must. Another virtual meeting with the Huron tomorrow.
I got one at 9 in the morning.
Well, that should have been 225, not 226, sorry, this is 226. Be resolved that Council Corporation Town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the closed session 13/2025 of November 10th, 2025 as presented / amended. Kevin mover, please. Susan, second, Carmen. Moved by Susan Hunter, second by Carmen Dozer. Any changes to the minutes? Accept them as presented. No further discussion, all in favor? Vote carried. And adjournment. It's 227, be resolved that this meeting adjourned at 9:07 p.m. Could I have a mover, please? Moved and seconded, Carmen. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much.
Everyone's always pushed to like motion on.
For the shortest.
Yeah.
That was so impressive.
We should get an award ceremony.
Yeah.
When you.
I have a question for you guys, Tom. If a lake